good to go.
We live, yep. We live. Real Sports Fan Podcast back for another Monday. It's June 8th.
Yeah.
Got a little bro here, man.
What's up?
Boo Ricks in the house. Kentrell Ricketts. Boo Ricks, as you know. Appreciate everybody getting on here, supporting, and all that good stuff, man. We just are blessed and happy to see another day. We're gonna get into a lot with Boo. I told him before we started that we got a lot that we could talk about. We just gonna kind of flow and see where the chips land. And this ain't gonna be the last time he on here anyway. So I'm glad he was able to get on here. So appreciate you, man. First and foremost, man, how you been doing with COVID going on and all that good stuff, man? How you been staying safe and everything?
Man, I've been, of course, practicing social distance, staying out the way. Downside to it, I had some camps coming up that I was looking forward to still doing, It was going to be my second year with Queenstown doing that. But because of the quarantine and all that got canceled. But other than that, man, I went back, I feel like a kid again. I've been outside, man.
Yeah, I know. I seen y'all
Like,
doing work.
I
seen y'all doing work. Back like the Limborough court days.
Marcus been calling people out to the backyard.
Yeah,
we used to play back there. Man, we've been, pull up on Sundays, 2-on-2, we take anybody.
Every Sunday, that's how y'all doing it?
It's been, we done did it I want to say 2 or 3 times.
Okay.
A couple times, we had John Dawson out there.
I seen John out there. I seen John.
Dez, Bruce. My little brother, that's how I got started. My little brother and Ryan Farr.
That's what's up.
They thought they backcourt could mess with the 06 backcourt.
Oh man, I'm sure they got a rude awakening with that. So
it's gonna be different in that backyard.
Yeah, it's different back there.
Yeah, that's how we came.
You know rust back there. You know what I'm saying?
Know.
Yeah, man. So I appreciate that, man. And appreciate you, hopping on. Definitely been trying to get you and we had some dialogue a couple months back. We said we was gonna hook it up. So we here in the flesh. We're a little late. Apologize for that, but we here. We're gonna get right into it. We gotta talk about a lot today. We're gonna talk about sports. We're gonna talk about mental health. We're gonna talk about family. We're gonna talk about what's going on in the world. So we're gonna try to get it. It might be an hour, might be a little over, but we're gonna see. And let me just do a plug real quick before I forget. 8 o'clock, I'll be on POV Sports Show, Soul Talk 100 right at 8. So as soon as you get done here, go ahead and check that out. So first and foremost, bro, one thing I know about you, and if people don't know, this is my little bro for real.
Right.
Like I was telling him, Boo, LT, Marcus, I seen those guys, grow. I seen those guys develop. From day one.
Walking to the wire.
Yeah, we went to the wire stuff. So it's different for me. Me having them, and then when I sit back and just watch the moves you've been making and stuff like that, man, I sit back. Proud, you know what I mean, and I ain't saying proud like a father or proud like I had something to do with it, but just a proud big bro, you know what I'm saying? Because you've always had that DNA, that determination DNA. You've always had that ball DNA, and so first and foremost, man, just talk about growing up and talk about where did the love of the game come from? Because man, you got a real love. Some people like the play, but you got a love.
It's crazy because I always talk at my camps. I'll get all the people that's working my camps and staff to tell their story. So it's crazy. I always tell the kids, and now I'm telling everybody that's on here. I did not like basketball.
Really? No, I never knew that.
I didn't like basketball.
I did see some old baseball articles and stuff, pitching and stuff.
I did not like basketball. I'm gonna tell you the truth. I started out with baseball. I was big into that. I used to pitch. And I did martial arts for real.
Oh, okay.
My stepfather, who passed away, he was a bodyguard. Everybody knew that. And he got me at the Y. I was doing taekwondo, Ishinru. I grew up in action movies and stuff. I was a Jean-Claude Van Damme fan. Bruce
Me too,
Lee,
Steve Seagal. I watched the Bruce Lee joint today from last night, 30 yo.
I had 100 million action figures. You can ask my mom. That's what I was into. I was into collecting stuff like that. But everybody in the neighborhood we grew up in Limborough Court. If you couldn't ball, man, you pretty much wasn't relevant. When everybody started playing, Mike kind of introduced me and my brother D to the game.
Mike Blake.
We seen him dribbling one day. He had a Pizza Hut basketball out there working on his pack. So, then everybody started playing basketball at Limborough Court. And I didn't get picked and stuff. I was smaller than everybody. I wasn't really into it. So what I started doing on the low for real, when everybody wasn't on the court, I like go out there just to see if I was alright, like see if I could do it. And I watch people play, and like I was really a sponge. Like I just fell in love with trying to get better, and then that's when I actually started liking it. But before that, baseball, martial arts. I used to want to play football, but shout out to Mom Duke, she ain't want to let me play football. But yeah, I really fell in love with trying to get better, and once I started doing that, I really started working at it on my own when nobody was watching, and then I kind of just set an individual goal in my head, like I'm gonna come out of nowhere, like be as good as people and be better than people think I'm going to be, and that just became an ongoing process for me.
That's dope. And one of the things you said is funny because I see Mike Blake just got on, and watching him, Mike, we got to get you on. People kind of forget, you know, Mike. That's all he did. Like you said, dribble.
He was the one.
He was the one.
Mike could score,
could shoot it.
And it's funny, everybody always try to clown my boy in high school. Like Mike was Rondo. Everybody.
Oh man, he was Rondo.
He played defense.
Block
pass,
shots,
block. Underside, scrappy guard. But when we first met Mike, I mean, he could score.
Yeah.
He could do it all.
He did it all, man.
I'm gonna tell you a funny story with Mike D.B. that really got me going. Shout out to Mike and LT if y'all on here.
Yeah.
So Mike and LT are god brothers, right? I didn't know LT. So when I started getting a little good at it or whatever, I was feeling myself. I ain't gonna stop. Like all the kids my age, like, nah, don't want no problems. Like, boo got it. So Mike hit me up one day and was like, man, come down, play. I got my little brother here. I'm like, your little brother?
You know,
yeah, I'm thinking like, little brother, like, really younger than you? He's like, yeah, he's younger than you. So in my mind, I'm like, I'm about to go down here and dust shorty off.
That's right.
Man, I remember we was playing the 11. I go down to Mike court. I see LT, you know, that all right, your brother want me to play. He got ball first, because I'm thinking, like, we were the same size, but I'm like, you said younger than me. So we go to 11, all ones. So I was so cocky back then a little bit. I was like, when he missed the game over, that was my MO.
Right.
The only problem was he didn't miss. He beat me 11-0. So I ain't play no defense. I just kept checking like, he's not gonna make all these. Man, he nailed all them joints, bro. And I looked at Mike. Hey, yo, you set me up. And they just laughing. And after that was probably like the first time I really lost one-on-one to somebody around my age. Like, I used to play my brother all the time. That's another thing. They used to hate it, yo. Like, I could lose. I'm like, play again.
Yeah, they all like it.
Play again. Like, he'd be like, yo, you're not going to beat me. Play again. But when LT beat me that time, 11 he's the first person around my age to beat me.
What age
I went in overtime.
What age that was? What age you?
Man, we was like maybe 9 or 10 years old. What I didn't know, I mean, they had already put the ball in LT hands from day one.
Oh, man.
I kind of just started filling it out, but I kind of picked it up quickly. So I'm thinking, man, I'm going to beat him, man. He beat me 11-0. And that's where I grew that hunger to work more, for real. I was already working at it. But then when I lost, like, some people take loss different. I go right to the court after I lose. That Kobe mentality. Like, if I have a bad game and win, I still go to the gym. You know,
and that's good, and that's actually what DJ said on here too. So you wouldn't give up. You know
look at he on here laughing.
Like he said, like he said, you wouldn't give up, and that's the same. And you've taken that mentality. That was what 9, 10, to now, even into your 30s. Like you still, whatever you face, you know what I'm saying. You won't give up, whether it's basketball, whether it's life, you know, all the different things that you've been through. So from there, from Lynbrook Court starting off. Where did it take you next? Was it rec ball? Was it YMCA before AAU? What, you know?
So after my process was, as I told you, I really still wasn't playing on teams. I just kind of started getting a feel for it.
Gotcha.
So back then, Dell was real big.
Yeah. That's right.
Yeah, that's my man. That's my man.
For sure.
So Dell called me out one day. You know, he outspoken loud.
Oh man.
And I used to go to the games and the tournaments with my mom to watch my older brother play. So man, I remember it like yesterday. Dad was like, "Boo!"
He said, "It's like,
you gonna put a jersey on, baby."
Yo, he might know damn.
Put me on blast.
Just like him,
put me on blast. I'm like, I was kind of shy for real coming out. I'm like, man, I don't know.
Yeah.
Come to practice Monday. I see you there, baby. So I'm like, all right. Went to a practice. To his surprise, I almost feel like he must knew I started playing. He was like, you got a game. Like, why you haven't been playing? So And I can honestly say, like, he probably the first person that gave me that confidence. That made me feel like, oh, like, I'm not just gonna be one of the people that play. Like, I'm really gonna do this.
That's
like,
really good.
He used to look at me like, he stopped me in practice sometimes. When I first started practice, it was like me, RJ Groves, Stormy, shout out to Fam RIP. Who else? We had a little younger Don, Cord.
I remember some of y'all playing and then
yeah. So when we first started, I went to a couple practice. Ernest was helping out, and I still was kind of shy with it. I knew I could dribble the ball, but I really couldn't score because I just would always dribble the basketball on the side, and I'd break people down and like get to the basket and pass it, and Dale would just stop the whole joint, blow the whistle. What are you doing? I'm like, what you mean? That was a good play in my eyes.
Yeah, right.
And anybody who played for Dale, they know that one, he said, shoot the ball.
Yeah.
So like, Dale was the one that made me like offensively aggressive. Like, all right, I can score.
Yeah.
You know, because I can dribble.
That's where the confidence came.
I can create for myself. And then after Dale, I got my feet wet a little bit with the Y. Back when what was that lady name? Miss Penny.
Miss Penny.
Yeah.
Miss Penny.
And me and Marcus actually ended up on the same team for the Y. That was dope. Met Lil Mike and all them. That's my cousin, Big Mike. And then that's when they started AAU.
Now, before you get to AAU, that 116, was that the team y'all was talking about? I remember y'all was having a debate.
That was
you,
later.
Mark, and you, Stormy, RJ.
Yeah.
Y'all,
that was like, as it progressed, maybe like 2 or 3 years later. So,
because Andre was coaching y'all, right?
Yeah, I can tell you about that team. With the Y, me, Stormy, RJ, Banks, we all was on the same team regular season. And we blew everybody out. And I don't think nobody, I feel like we was that team, we was the underdog team. We had a couple guys that could play, but back then, like, it's crazy because even at that age, there's certain names you know and certain names you don't know.
Yeah, for sure.
And I mean, LT name was ringing bells back then because he was shooting threes from everywhere.
He was.
And like Little Mike, Rob Pitts, all them guys when we first started playing. So we hadn't really established those names for ourselves. But what they didn't know is me, RJ, and Stormy all lived in the same neighborhood. So we all played in the backyard together. So when we found out we was all on the same team, we was like, we gonna do this just like we do in the backyard. And then on top of that, to make matters worse, Andre really built all of us up.
That's what's up.
Like we already had chemistry, and then he was a great coach. And what I liked about him, and I said it on the post, he ain't try to limit my game. Like I feel like as I got older, I know, like, I ain't gonna say limit. Some coaches want me to play the right way.
That's real though.
Yeah, they wanted me to play the right way.
Like, you ain't gotta say it. Some did limit your game.
Yeah, like, don't do all that dribbling, one move, go type stuff.
Right.
And it's funny because I brought up a story. This once we got to the travel team, and how we got to the travel team is Andre ended up being the coach, and he basically took like 4 or 5 people off of our team and got them on the travel team, and then just added the pieces. Like he was like, I want my boys. And then a few others. But I remember we was over there in a game, and I kind of had a slow start one time. And he used to just always, he was a 1-2, give me that motivation. I looked over one time, he's like, boo, give it to him. Give it to him. Like,
you going back like,
word? Like,
let's
go. Man, I pulled everything out. I'm AI, double Tim Hardaway, and we went off. And then our press was crazy. Like, teams couldn't even break our press. So if we was going offensively, we really won off of defense with Andre. But then he also, like I said, he didn't limit us offensively. He'd be telling us to, like, Stormy had bounce. He'd be, Stormy, you going to dunk tonight? Like, that type of motivation. Ooh, how many angles you going to break, baby? Don't hold back. And that used to just give you that freedom to be like, man, we can have fun with it, and we win it.
That's Dre, too. Shout out Dre. We post a link soon, too. That's what's up.
Yeah.
That's what's up. So then you got AAU.
AAU. So then I linked up with the fam, and it's funny, I talked to him today. So Big Mike is my cousin. My grandmother's at Stanford.
Oh, okay.
So Big Mike, he was coaching, I can't remember what age we were. But me, LT, and Marcus was playing up when we played with Big Mike.
Y'all always did, too.
And then you had, matter of fact, Potter and Jolly had late birthdays. Brian Potter and Angelo Jolly. And they basically like was a grade level under you. So me and Marcus playing on the same team as Potter and Jolly, but we all in that age bracket. And I mean, we used to wreck. Like out of all the teams, like we made a friendly competition. We here to win.
Y'all did. Y'all and then Mike and them, they had a push through where they ended up going to states one year, or one state and went to Florida one year.
Right.
Yeah, y'all two, you know, Bell. So did Bell coach you the whole time?
No, we started with Mike.
So you started with Mike?
We started with Mike Stanford.
Okay.
Basically that same crew, me, Marcus, Rob Pitts, Michael Stanford, DJ Brooks, Jolly, Potter.
Because that picture I was talking about the day that LT sent you, that brought back some memories. You know what I'm saying? Seeing all them, seeing cats like, I think it was Dave. I forgot all about Dave, Milligan and stuff like that. So that's what's up.
I feel like the AAU was when I first started seeing that high level competition.
Yeah, for real.
Like
for real.
The stuff with Dale, we went to like some tournaments in Salisbury here and there. And the Y, of course, was local.
Yeah, it was local.
But then with the AAU, I didn't know nothing about AAU. Because like I told you, I didn't like basketball. So all this is new to me. So after we got with Mike, I remember like they kind of set me, LT, and Marcus down, said they're going to start a team for our age group. And I ain't gonna lie, because we had already established like, you know, our chemistry and relationship with the guys on our team, I was a little discouraged. Like, what you mean? Like, I forgot all about the fact
why we got those. When you playing to have fun, you didn't even think about that.
Yeah, we just, you know, we was winning some tournaments. And then I remember, you know, James came on the scene, was like, we want to, you know, start something for y'all age group. And then that's when it was me, L, Marcus, my boy Logan. I don't know if you know Logan Barrier.
Yeah.
Man, he was tough.
Yeah, I remember Logan Barrier.
A lot of people don't know. Logan was tough.
I remember Logan Barrier.
Yeah, a couple other guys, and basically like put the pieces together for our age group. And then we went to the black and white uniforms. So we started with the blue and white with Mike. And then we went black and white.
Yeah, I forgot about that. The blue and white joint. Y'all sure did.
We had the team Jordans.
We still had the green joints. I wanted them blue. That's my favorite.
And we had the design shirts after Corey passed away.
Boy, that was times, man. That's good times, man. And be on the lookout, man. We getting AAU popping back again, man. So be on the lookout for that.
That's big too.
Yeah, Ian was on that team. Your brother asked Ian was on Bell team.
And Ian was like 6'5".
6'5" point guard.
When we was 12.
He was. Same size he is there. But that's what's up, man. That's what's up. So like you said, you see these steps where you talk about, you know, starting off at Limbrook Core, you start about rec ball, AAU, and then I remember, and I'll just tell this, and then I'll segue to you. You know, me and Gary, you know, always said that Boo next up. You know what I'm saying? We always ask him. He always talk about you like, hey, Boo, man, like, and you right. There was times I remember watching you because I was in 12th, he was in 9th. So I remember watching you on JV, and there was times you like, go ahead, Boo, do more. But like you said, sometimes you know the system or held back real game. You understand? But just talk about the transition first. 9th grade, you know, just talk about going to 9th grade JV, and then we'll go from there to get into your 3 varsity years.
All right, so, man, 9th grade, it's crazy because I planned for that, like, and I'm a coach now, so, you know, of course I always tell the kids, like, man, playing Eastern Warrior basketball was, like, everything. That's everything. Like, because we went to those games, crowds sold out. I was talking to my boy LJ, shout out to LJ the other day. He was talking about the Eastern and Cambridge game that they had this year where the kid beat him with the
the shot. Yeah, that was a wild game. But still, it wasn't as packed as well.
And that's what I told him.
It wasn't as packed. It was a good game, though.
He was saying, man, bro, the energy matched all the time. I was like, no, too. I said, y'all bugging? I was like, all our games was like that. And then the Cambridge and Easton, even back then, Hurlock, Colonel, all them games was way bigger. So I got to see that. I don't know if you remember. I was a water boy for 2 years. Look, people used to clown me. That's why I was telling people, I was like, I got
being close to the game, though. That's what it was all about.
And I used to, like, I was a dedicated water boy. Because people didn't know, my plan was like, I'm really in the practice watching the
you watching.
I'm watching the plays. I knew a lot of the plays by the time I was in 8th grade.
Come on, now how did Scottie Pippen start off, man?
I knew the motions and all that. And then I'm like, you know, observing the coaching styles and how much tougher to be over here than in middle school. So I really came in my 9th grade year on a mission. Like, I was so confident. Like, I was walking around telling people, like, if you try and be the starting 2 on the JV this year, you might as well forget about that. And then Mark was my dog. Mark had transferred to the Christian Academy, but I knew he was coming back. I was like, Marcus.
Oh, man, I forgot about that.
And I was like, when Marcus come back, Marcus starting to 1, I'm starting to 2.
I forgot about that,
And I mean, we'd be at lunch. I mean, Travis Murray, PJ, we had a deep class. But we used to be at the Y battling all the time. We talk our trash to each other. And I mean, I used to tell people, yo, nobody gonna see me on that too. That's my spot. And so, of course, when I got my freshman year, I was just starting shooting guard. Skinner, who I thought it might got moved up, stayed down. So I'm in my head like, oh, we got Skinner. I got my boy Mark with me.
Y'all was good.
That's enough. And we still had Dez.
Yeah, y'all did.
Travis Murray. Marvin Jenkins.
Y'all were at one point. I don't know what the final record was, but I know y'all was 13-2.
We went 17-2.
Yeah, I gotta say because the article I seen y'all was 13-2. I think y'all lost to Cambridge.
That's the only team we lost.
You and this, what the article I said, you and Skinner both had big games. Y'all just beat. Might have been the same out with that particular article I seen. But y'all had a great JV year.
Yeah, I was mad with Skinner that year, man.
Yeah, great
they split that MVP vote on us, man.
Oh, they split it?
They split it on us, man.
We can't do no splits.
Look, Johnson, he broke it down too.
Johnson.
I don't remember the numbers exactly. But so me and Skinner averaged like 0.1 points apart. Like he averaged like 17.9 and I averaged 17.8.
That's crazy.
And then like he led the team in rebounds, but I led the team in assists. And I remember he said it. He was like, "Man, it was tough. I don't think I could have done it without either one of them." So my MVP goes to D. Skinner, and my co-MVP is Boo Ricketts. And it's crazy because I remember that I was happy, but because my mentality was so different, I think that's why I'm a Kobe fan. Nothing against Skinner. It don't matter who it was. In my mind, I was like, next year I'm getting it by myself. It ain't nobody getting it. I'm getting it by myself.
I respect that. I mean, and it's just like anytime you was on the court, no matter who was on the court, you always thought you were the best player. I know I did. I know you did. You know what I mean? And then as far as because it's funny, me and Skinner was actually just talking about the JV part and then what y'all did, and that helped preparing y'all, for varsity and for what was to come.
Right.
Talk a little bit about, because your 10th grade year, obviously, it flashed full circle.
Like
you just talked about how you started off with watching Mike Blake dribble and watching him, and now fast forward, you're his backup point guard.
Yeah.
But you end up getting maybe even more playing time than you thought, because Mike had an ankle injury that year. That he missed a good number of games, and your minutes went up. So just talk about that process.
I still feel like they'll tell you. We talk about we always had these conversations. Man, I used to feel like I killed people in practice. I ain't even gonna lie to you.
I feel you. And
honestly, before I got moved up, I really didn't want to get moved up. Because in my mind, I set goals. I always set goals for myself. So I'm like, cool.
You wanted the MVP.
I wanted to get But realistically, I also knew
you should be up.
Yeah, I knew that's where I belonged.
I was the same way.
And even like my 9th grade year, I mean, I ain't that big now, but my freshman year I was the smallest, of course. And I kind of went through my growth spurt from my freshman to sophomore year. By the time I became a sophomore, I was like trying to dunk.
I remember
like, trying to jump. I hit a little growth spurt over the summer. I started trying to dunk going into 10th grade. So for real, I used to have fun with the game, so I really wanted to play JV because I'm thinking like I'm gonna get like 40 points a game. I'm gonna dunk.
Too easy for you.
Yeah, but then of course the coaches observed and they like that ain't gonna do nothing for him, man. And I was just worried about my individual goals. Like, nah, I want to go undefeated, and I want to get that MVP. So I did end up getting moved up. Richard talked to me, set me down, like definitely can use you. I mean, then my mom, I remember her saying, shout out to Mom Dukes. She like, because then I only got to be at one game. Me and D on the same team now. So my sophomore
I want you to talk about that too. Your sophomore year. Playing with Big Bro. That's, people don't get to do that. A lot of people don't get to do that. So talk about playing with Big Bro and playing behind Mike.
Man, I feel like my sophomore year was like that growth year. Like it's almost like I felt like I was at the top as a freshman. I got MVP my first year in high school. There's nothing you can tell me. And then it was like going from like knowing you the leader and going back down and got to earn it all over again. And I always tell my kids in my camp about that. I'm like, it always happens like that. Those different phases of transitions. You might be at the top, and then when you transition from high school to college, there's a bunch of guys that can play. It's not just you now. But my sophomore year, it was tough. And what's crazy is Mike was really my man. Everybody know that. We rode to school together. We stayed after together, rode home from practice together. And it was so crazy because I'm like, this is one of my best friends. But I'm also, because I'm so competitive, I'm like,
you trying to go at him.
Man, I got to go at him so I can get some more time.
That's right.
And I remember even my brother used to say, like, man, come come on, man, like just work hard. And it was weird because I was competitive with him too, but I know they saw more in me, and I didn't see it all yet with myself because it's crazy because I kept telling people, like even my freshman year, I was like, I could play varsity if I want to, but I just knew the steps you had to take. And I remember one year D and them told me, blew my head up. They said Richard got mad at him my freshman year. I want to say he was a senior. Yeah, they said he told Turtle, who I looked up to. So this like blew my ego up. I think Turtle did something unbasketball related.
I know what you talking about.
And they said Richard said, I'll move Boo Ricks up before I put you in this game.
It was against Cambridge, 12th grade year, in the locker room. I remember that yesterday. That's what he told him.
Yep. And when they told me that, he told me he said that. I'm like, he said what? I'm like, nah, I love to play varsity, but that sophomore, my first year on varsity, man, was so tough. It was emotional. I'll be real, because it's just a game I love playing. Where I was so used to being the man and playing all the minutes. I'm the man that's getting the minutes. To now, like, if Mike in foul trouble, I might get in, or if Mike having a bad game, I might get in. And they started using me as a 2 a little bit, even though I was a little bit undersized. I mean, it was deep. DJ, was DJ there that year? Yeah, DJ, Little, my brother,
your brother,
Mike.
Obviously the bigs with
these are all the people I got to battle with. Mind you, Marcus got moved up too. So now, again, that's my boy. But we all fighting for minutes. And like, even as a coach, I be trying to tell those kids, because I feel like they way more friendly than us. Like, yo, you're not. Every day's a tryout.
Yeah, they are.
I know that's your homeboy. And y'all in class together.
Go at it.
Right, but then, I mean, they'll tell you, in our practices, man, I was going at people.
At those practices, then, not to cut you off, but those practices, then, like I said, you wouldn't even be able to tell who was boys off the court. Because sometimes we want to get ready to fight. We might be cussing at each other. I mean, all that.
It's like, funny you say that. Like, you know so I watched The Last Dance, and my mom was like, Jordan was nasty. And I was like, you should have seen some of our practices. I said, we was the same way. And I'm like, I've never seen a good player that don't got that edge about themselves. Or talk a little smack. Like, I'll give you one, and I never seen him in practice or nothing in the NBA. I feel like Derrick Rose is the most quiet
assassin
player I've ever seen in the NBA. But then a dunk on you, go right by you. Don't yell, no type of expression. But other than that, man, every great basketball player got a little edge to him.
You gotta have that edge to get to the place that you want to get to.
Right.
You got to. So that's good. And like you said, I know, from I went to a good number of games that year, and I think I remember y'all beat Bennett at home. Y'all was the only team to beat Bennett. Y'all beat Bennett at home, and y'all faced them getting the playoffs. But I remember seeing your minutes, and like you said, I was like that 10th grader where I was mad at Richard for a while. like I was like, Richard, I want to stay down. Like Twan was still there. I was like, I want to play with my boys. Like, but he was like, they ain't gonna benefit you. So you and Kevin got to move up. You know what I'm saying? And I know what you was going through. You think like, hey. Yeah, I can go on JV and kill, like you said, average that, but like you said, that wasn't going to help you for 11th and 12th grade. That's the key.
And they moved 3 of us up too.
Yeah,
now
who was up?
Me, Marcus, and Travis Murray got moved up.
Oh, okay.
Plus, Skinner was moving up because he was a sophomore.
Right.
So, out of our start lineup, that was 4 of our starters from the year before.
Yeah, that's a good point.
And I ain't even gonna lie, I think about it sometimes. I'm like, man, let me, Trav, and Mark stay down.
That'd be crazy, man.
We would have beat team by 50.
Undefeated. You know what I'm saying? So that's dope sophomore year. So now you going to Mike said you used to be ready to fight Marcus in practice.
I did. Look, hold up. Look, man, it's crazy because I'm so chill off the court, and I tell people, like, it's a different me on the court. And I remember this story, they be talking about it because around the time D was dating Christmas or whatever. So Cody tried out. Cody was a sophomore.
I remember that.
And I remember, we was all cool or whatever, but I told Cody straight, I said, man, I'm going to kill you on this court. And I remember I crossed the mess out of Cody. And he clotheslined me when I went for the layup. I was ready to see him. Like, yo.
That's just all I was.
You're not going to make the team by family. But then when we got on teams, I respected it. Like, Cody had this, he's like, man, I just trying, I can't let you do that. That's how trials go. Like,
that's it.
I basically would, if I finished it, they would have been talking about it tomorrow.
Yeah, they would have.
So,
they would have.
I definitely. Marcus, the reason me and Marcus go at it, me and Marcus been playing together so long. Man. When we on teams, we good. It's the same way with Dez. But when they guard me, it's almost like they know my package.
Yeah.
Marcus be trying to sit on my cross that somebody else never seen. Oh, I'm going to catch them. And it's crazy. I don't know if you was here. We played recently out here, and Marcus had came out here. He talked about, I was watching you on the sidelines.
I think that's the one I missed. I think that's the Saturday I missed, because I was with you one Saturday, because actually he was guarding me. But I missed that one. But yeah.
Man, I was going at Mark. I was going at him. But he make it hard. He make it tough, and they end up beating us. And him and LJ was in the group message talking their trash, because him and LJ was on the same team that day. But yeah, man, I'll always be getting into it with Marcus. I know what you about to do. I know your next move. And sometimes he would. So he was one of them people I just started, man, I'm just blow by him.
Marcus had good hands, man.
Yeah.
He had a lot of
Marcus
steals.
was always getting most defensive.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, he had a lot of, I see 4 steals a game, 5 steals. Yeah, he had real good hands. Right. So talk now, you didn't learn 10th grade. Now you go into your 11th grade year, more experience, and I know when you play 10th grade, you go to 11th grade, you feel confident. Like, you know what I'm saying? You feel like, hey, I'm good. You know, you got, obviously, that's Skinner senior year, so you still got Skinner, you still got a lot of guys that was there. Then you got LT's coming his sophomore year, stuff like that.
LT
moved up. Yeah. So talk about 11th grade year, and if you want to compare 11th and 12th grade, you put them together, you can, because I know last week with Bryce, we had a debate arguing about who was better, your 11th grade team or your 12th grade team. And just for everybody listening, 11th grade, the coach was still Richard God. 12th grade was Tony Johnson. So also 2 different coaches, 2 different systems. So talk about both them teams.
My 11th grade year, for me individually, I felt a lot of pressure, because it was like I had people coming up to me, like even in public, like that's how big basketball was back then. When you could hoop, like the whole neighborhood know you. And I'd be certain place, they like, what grade you in this year? I'm like, I'm a junior this year. Oh, what's gonna be your team now? And I wasn't even thinking like that, because I was still a little emotional from my sophomore year, because I didn't do as well as I expected to. I felt like I had a trash year, for real, as a sophomore. Like, even though I wasn't expected to do a lot, I expected way more from myself. And it was a lot of times, you know, I just let the difference with the pressure and coaching, being on varsity, get to me sometimes, you know? Because, I mean, of course, JV, I had no problems. My coach just came to me like I was the leader. But, so as a junior, I'm like, oh, now it's my team back. What I'm going to do? Like, I don't want to let nobody down. I know people expecting me to have a killer year, because I basically had, you know, a slow year as a sophomore. I feel like I got to redeem myself. And
that's that Mamba mentality.
Yeah, I was like, I got to redeem myself. But we got even deeper.
Yeah, y'all did.
LT moves up, Bryce moves up, Terrence transferred, we had Jerron, Skinner, Marcus. So as much as I wanted to really take over and redeem myself, I also knew the game of basketball. My MO was always winning. So I knew I didn't have to do a lot, even though people was expecting me to kill every night. Because I'm like, for one, I trust all these guys. We all been playing together. For 2, this is really going to be my first year in that role on a varsity team. So it's still kind of fresh. Even though I didn't play varsity, I didn't caught up with the speed of the game. But now actually playing and being effective in those starter minutes, you know, I was more nervous my junior year than I was my senior year. And I feel like having those, getting moved up early gives you that advantage. I feel like if, you know, I didn't get moved up my sophomore year, I feel like my senior year was an extra year.
It all been new. I agree. I
so
the same way.
Now, who's better? Transition from the 11th to the 12th grade year.
And for context, just give people, you know, you might not remember the record, but how far y'all went, you know. Just
our record, our junior year wasn't as good as we expected. We did decent before an Eastern team, like we expected to be at the top. I feel like we might have been maybe 3rd or 4th that year. But it's crazy because Mont called me right after.
Last week.
Yeah, he's like, man, you think they was better than our senior team? I was like, nah. I was like, let me break it down. So I'm gonna break it down for everybody. This is how I feel about it. I feel like our 04-05 team. That's what it was. My junior year. On paper, man, we was way deeper, and we had more bigs. We had Skinner, who was one of the best big men I ever played with. And we had Jerron, who ended up transferring. He was young too. And then we, for our guard play, did Lump get moved? I feel like Lump was on the varsity too. Me, Mont, Lump, Terrence, LT, Marcus. We had people coming off the bench that if they went to other schools, they would start.
And you know how those loans
That's our deep
because
we were.
when y'all played Cambridge that one year, they used to press y'all.
They put Lump in and he broke the press by himself. That's what I'm saying. All right, think about that. Lump was coming off the bench on that.
Everybody knows Lump when he gets buckets. Like,
yeah,
like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
I think that team, when you looked at them on paper,
yeah,
we was way better than
yeah.
my senior year. Now, this is my last decision.
Yeah.
My senior year, 06 squad, I think that team was better because you got to think about it. Terrence ended up transferring, Skinner graduated, Jerron left. But we still got 6, 7 dudes that was already on there. They felt that sting from the year before, like we should have been way better. We all came in on a mission. Me, Marcus, Lump, BJ, Bryce, LT. We all was like, we should have won last year. So the mentality shift is what makes the 06 team better to me. But as far as how deep we was with the 04-05 squad, we were supposed to do more damage. We had a deep team.
And that's a great breakdown because, you know, there's a, you know, just because
LT said we didn't need y'all.
Just because record-wise, you know, it might have been better. You know, you like you said, you're looking at it 1 through 12 or whatever. And that's how I always tell people, my 11th grade team was deeper, my 12th grade team was better. If that makes sense. You know what I'm saying? So I definitely, you know, get what you're saying. And that, now your 11th grade year, and let me know if I'm wrong, y'all played Wahai, you had a chance to go across the bridge and lost.
That was my senior year.
That was your senior year. Now that's now your senior year is when your last game of your career you had 29. You had at least 5.
They put it wrong in Democrat. It was 31.
31. I
mean, I get wrong.
31. Yeah, you did. And the reason I say that too because now I had to look at the paper to know that you had like over 5 points each quarter. You know what I mean? But I was at that game. I remember me and Gary, we went because
you want to know what I remember the most about that game? I don't mean to cut you off.
That's what I want. I want game stuff. That's what I want.
I remember Richard used to put me in, man, and people couldn't guard me, so they fouled me. And I don't know what it was. I could shoot the ball, but I just couldn't make free throws my sophomore and junior year.
You were a free throw shooter too.
Right. I couldn't. Look, Mike and them will tell you, I was Jason Williams from Duke. I couldn't make free throws. But against Wahai, I remember I went to the gym the night before. I was like,
you was hitting.
I'm going to be aggressive, so I know I'm going to get fouled over there. And the biggest thing for me, I had 31 with no threes, and I went 9 for 12 from the free throw line. And I just I wanted that game, and I'm gonna tell you, the biggest reason I just wanted to be able to say my senior year we got that because I used to still, you know, of course Mike and D and all them still my boys. And I used to tell them like, watch my senior year. That's what when I'm in charge, we gonna get it. And I mean, we was one game away. And it was crazy that whole year. So Johnson was our coach, but I also had like you know how you got the limited schedule. So I had Johnson as I was the teacher Aiden Johnson. So I was the captain of my team. And me and Johnson would be in there chopping it up, and Johnson would get on me all the time. Like, we'd win the game the night before. Johnson, you played like you were scared the first hand. You played soft. I'm waiting for the, you know, ninth grade. And I used to tell him, I'm like,
because he coached you ninth grade.
He coached me my ninth grade year where I used to kill. And I was telling Johnson, I'm like, man, Johnson, do you see who we got on our team? Like, why am I just go ISO mode with LT on the wing, Bryce on the wing, who catching lobs, Marcus. We got Mont coming off the bench, Desmond coming off the bench, Lump, John, BJ. And I was looking at the bigger picture. I already knew what type of team we were going to have, and I really was more focused on winning. And my mindset my senior year was, I know I can score, but if I can get everybody involved and everybody clicking every night, like, you can ask LT. I used to go to LT every second half. Like, yo, it's your LT show second half. LT show. He's like, what you mean? It's time for you to take off. You always kill in the second half. And I mean, LT sometimes would go 4 or 5 threes in one half. So I'm like, I used to get mad with Johnson. Like, why are you coming for me? I had 16, LT had 20, Bryce had 18, Marcus had 13. Like, them random numbers, but that's how I used to look. And you know, I feel like the only thing we lacked our senior year was bigs. We only had one true big, and that was Brandon Blake. Brandon Blake. Where I feel like Brandon was more of a He was more of a rebounding, blocking guard. Blocking big.
Yeah,
he wasn't get the ball in the post like Skinner and create his own shot.
And like I said, which called Bill Chester, so he was there. Yeah, so that does make a difference. That definitely makes a difference. And it's something too, though. Like you said, just how everything came full circle, and then you know you made second team your 12th grade year, right?
I made it.
12th grade. I think you might have made both years.
Yeah,
you made 11 and 12.
And that kind of made me mad. That kind of made me think about what Johnson was talking about, because the way Johnson was talking. And shout out to Tony Johnson.
You were thinking like it was He
was like, man, you a potential player of the year.
Yeah.
Like the Boo Ricks I know is a potential player of the year, and I was like, in my mind, I'm like, I can go out here with the agenda and goal to make sure I get my 30 every night, or I can have the agenda and goal to make sure my team clicking and we win with ease.
And then, like you said, the point guard position was different then compared to.
See, I was a combo.
You know what I'm saying?
You
were the two, because then
that's why he wanted to score. Yeah,
they did this.
But it was a lot of times I pulled one of them Pippen or LeBron moves.
Mark was running one.
Yeah, Marcus was the one. Yeah. But sometimes I'd be like, Mark, I got the one. Put Mark on the wing, because Marcus could shoot it too. And like sometimes I'm kind of like lump. Like Marcus can handle the ball, but it'd be sometimes where I'm like, give me the ball.
Yeah, because y'all could alternate.
Yeah.
So it was
and sometimes I see a mismatch, so I'm like, just let me get the ball right now.
Yeah.
I ain't waiting for it on the wing.
And plus, you always like having the ball in your hands and create, off the dribble, like that as well. But your brother, he says entertainment, baby, get buckets. So, he just mess up. That's why he always used to say that, because
let me tell you how
you don't understand.
Me and D, we can't play together, man. Oh, I never got to you about that, but that's on the same team. Even back then, D, that's my boy. I love him, bro. But we had two different mindsets when it came to basketball. D said basketball is entertainment, man. And I was like, man, so you don't play to win? I entertain. And I'd be like, man, you got it. I told him I'd rather win ugly than look good losing. He like, at the end of the day, boo, it's on TV.
It's on TV.
It's entertainment.
Hey, I love D, man. Shout out Ricks, man. He on here. So that's what's up. He said leave. So you go from, like I said, a very good high school career, and I remember, and if I'm wrong or something, he could let me know, but you made a name at Chesapeake, not just for yourself, but the team. And I'll tell you how I had to get reminded. I had to get reminded a couple months ago, me and Fuse around for one
right here. Our team went.
Yeah, talk about it.
I think we was the first Chesapeake team to get back to the region championship in like over 20 years.
Yeah. Y'all had some big ones with y'all beat Garnett by 3 in 1 year. You had big and one. You had big 3-point play.
Yeah.
Y'all beat.
That was cornrow boo.
Yeah, that was cornrow boo.
Because I got my hair cut my second year.
Yeah, that was cornrow boo. So I remember that. But just talk about the Chesapeake experience and just even the way you played and the team. Just talk a little bit about that experience and what you enjoyed about it.
Man, I played with the sharpshooters as well when it came to AAU. And I remember, talking to Coverdale about what school I was going to go to and stuff. And around that time, he had plugged me in with Dell State. Drexel had came to a couple practices, was talking to me. And back then it was weird. I feel like the rules changed. The coach had said something to me about I would have to get my hair cut if I came there. And I was young-minded at the time, so I was like, well, I just go to a school, I keep my cornrows. Back then, that was our thing. Like, having cornrows was more of a basketball culture thing. So I was like, man, this is who I am. I'm not changing who I am to go to these schools. And then I wanted to go to Bowie or Virginia State, and then had talks with UMES as well. But
Hawks, baby.
So I was about to go to Dell State when it came to college, and something happened. Somebody got shot at an event or something. And then I also remember talking to Coverdale. My homeboy that I played with for the sharpshooters, Kyle White, was at Dell State. And Coverdale told me, he was like, look, you can play there, but you're going to be the backup. Because Kyle's already plugged in. You're not going to get that spot until he leaves. And he was like, I ain't trying to say it's because he's better than you. He's like, he already got the experience. That's how college goes. Plus, I respect Kyle. I know he was tough. That would have basically been like me in high school, trying to battle with Mike for a spot with my bro. But so I decided to go to Chesapeake, and I ain't gonna lie, my mom will tell you, I was discouraged about it. I felt like I was better. You know how people talk like, man, you supposed to go here, you supposed to go there.
It was different then. You going Chesapeake, it was different then. Plus people, you know what I'm saying? So
Chesapeake was last on my list. Not trying to be funny, but for real. And then also my brother was in college at the time too, so we wasn't both getting those scholarships. So my mom telling me it'll be hard to support both of y'all on a D3, D2. Yeah. So I made the decision to go to Chesapeake. But I feel like it was probably the best thing to happen to me because my favorite coach all time, and no knock to all the other coaches, I just feel like I learned so much from this dude. I mean, he sleep basketball, wake up basketball. Sometimes he used to come give me a ride. He was old school. He had a radio station on there talking about the basketball games and stuff.
That's Mathis?
Mathis, John Mathis. So my freshman year, me and Marcus both went to Chesapeake. I knew then there's no way I'm playing the 2 in college. But to my surprise, the tallest person on our team my freshman year, where this is the most impressive thing to me, the tallest person maybe like 6'4".
Yeah, all small.
So when I first met Mathis, man, he got straight to me. He humbled me quick. He's like, I heard a lot about you. They didn't tell me you were that small though. And I'm like, man, I got a little joke about you. Like, hey, wait till you see me play. So then we used to do open gyms, and I could tell, I was kind of getting some recognition from him. He'd already heard about me, but he really wanted to see. And I'd always go chop it up with him. I was that type of player. Like I always wanted to create a relationship with my coaches. And I'd go, you see that what I did today, coach? He's like, yeah, you just need 10 more pounds on you. So then that's when I really got into lifting.
That's his college. So
right. So I started lifting. I'm like trying to do everything I can to start here. And to my surprise, I still had to work for the spot at Chesapeake. I was kind of like sleeping on Chesapeake. We had some dudes that showed up that could play some ball. So I remember I just started working hard, and I just studied how to coach. Like he was real big on help defense. If you don't know the plays, you're not playing. If you don't play defense, you're not playing. And I wasn't the strongest player defensively in high school. I did enough to stay on the court. I feel like when I got to college, I really decided, all right, I'm going to work on defense. And I mean, Mathis just showed us help side, gap principle, all that. And I remember our first scrimmage, I didn't start. And that kind of rubbed me the wrong way. But I always set goals, so I did get in. When I got in, I got like maybe 12 or 13 points off the bench in our first scrimmage. And then our second scrimmage, he started me. And I knew it didn't mean nothing because it's scrimmages. Maybe he just trying something out. And then I started maybe one more scrimmage. So by the time the season came, I was a starter. And it's crazy. I impressed myself. I was like, oh, snap, I'm starting. And I remember one time, in the tryouts, I went home telling my mom, I was like, man, I might not be cut out for this. The tryouts on college was worse than high school.
We thought high school was bad, huh?
Yeah.
Thank God for the run.
And then I got asthma. People don't know. Like, I'll never complain about it. Our college coach, he turned the heat up purposely because he said, if y'all can play under these conditions,
That's true, though.
when other teams come in, it's going to be hard for them. And I mean, man, I was cut up just for practice because we was sweating every day. And I used to just come like, I don't know if I can do this college ball. If this high is going to be on JUCO, and my plans is to go like to another school. I don't know how much more of this I can do, but I'm just so like driven. Once I put my mind to something, the only way I'm going to stop is I got cut, and I didn't get cut. I ended up starting. We had a rocky regular season. I want to say we might end up being a little bit over 500. But our team just got so much better. Like some of those games we was losing was close games. And because we was losing some of those close games, by playoffs, me and all my teammates put our heads together. It was like, man, we can make a playoff run. And nobody is expecting us to. So we don't have nothing to lose. And I remember my boys, I got a couple boys from Delaware, TL, Davon. They was like our defensive specialists. And we used to just get each other hype on the court. Like we talk to each other like, yo, take the ball from them. Hey, Ricks, I got you. TL, I got you. And I mean, we were on a mission when we went to playoffs. And we beat those teams and got to the region championship. And then I didn't even know we made history. An older guy who played.
While you was in it, you wouldn't think.
Yeah, an older guy who happened to play for, I think he played for the team that went to the regional championship back then.
And my dad was on there. That's how I did.
Yeah, he came to the tournament and he set me down. What's up with you? He set me down and said, man, congratulations, young man. And I didn't know what he was talking about.
You probably like, what you talking about?
He's like, y'all made history. Nobody done this since y'all. And then that's when I started telling my team, like, they said, we the first team to do this in 20 years. Mind you, we got a small team, a lot of young guys. And I remember just always riding with my coach. He would take me to practice. Because back then I had car difficulties. I had coach. I need a ride. And he used to always just tell me, Kentrell, I don't need Allen Iverson. And I'll be like, well, what you want from me, coach? It was crazy. I'm like, what you want from me, coach? He's like, you know what I need from you? Chauncey Billups.
That's a big shot.
And I said, what you mean by that?
Steady.
He said, I'd rather you finish a game with 12 assists and 5 points than 25 points and 6 turnovers. Because I was turning the ball over early when I got there. You know, the level was different. The defensive pressure was a little different. And it wasn't that they was taking the ball from me. That 5 count, they really And we used to run plays out of the box set. And if my guards wasn't open on the side, I either got to keep dribbling or force a pass. So I had to learn to adjust to that. I was turning the ball over.
And them guys going you right as soon as you get the ball.
As soon as I got the ball.
Yeah, it's not like high school work when you get overhead court.
Where I had handle, but my coach kept telling me, keep it simple. He said, you got such a handle, you one move, you going and get me into my plays. Where what I was doing early was, if I beat them early, I was going all the way by myself, but it was trees in there. And I just learned to do up and unders and get fouled and stuff. But my coach just changed my game, and like he really showed me the bigger picture. He said, use what you got, which is, that's where I kind of started doing the ISO thing. He was like, you're a great ISO player. But he was like, he was like, because you can get by people, it doesn't mean you have to score. You penetrate and kick. So we had a dude on our team named Jimmy. Jimmy could shoot it. And coach told me, I want you to get 10 plus assists. When you start doing that, you're a true point guard. So me being like kind of arrogant, like, all right, I ain't gonna shoot the ball tonight just to show coach. I did it purposely, and coach pulled me in the office after that. I finished this one game with like 11 assists, and like 7 points.
But you didn't shoot.
Didn't shoot a lot. I just got fouled a couple times, made my free throws, might have got a couple fast break layups. I finished with 7 points and 11 assists. He pulled me in the office after that. He put my shooting percentage up, which was like high because I didn't shoot a lot.
Right.
I only had 2 turnovers. I had 11 assists. He said, that's Chauncey Billups. And he said, that's what I need from you. He said, when you put your head down, the team puts their head down. I need you to keep your head up and control the game. Where before I got to college, control the game meant get buckets.
Get buckets. It was different. It's the mentality is different.
Right, and it's crazy. He gave me the praise after that. I remember it shocked me because we have those coaches, he don't let you know you're doing good. Like, you can have a killer game. And he still,
same.
You can still fall.
He's still like that. You don't know.
He was one of those Phil Jackson type guys. So I read the paper this one time, and he said Kentrell Riggins has been the most consistent player and hardest working player.
I read that yesterday.
Yeah, and that's
what he said.
Without the numbers and all, that's
even the most consistent.
Right. That for that man to say that as hard as he was, I mean, I seen this dude cuss people out, kick people out. I mean, he told one of my teammates one time he was gonna put their name on one of the chairs because he wasn't getting in the game.
Oh man.
And I'm just thinking like, yo, I'm never gonna get this guy's praise. Where I'm one of those players that kind of motivates me. As I told you, like when I played for Andre, played for Dale, played for Mike. When you give me that motivation, I give you more. But I learned like we basically grown men now. He's not here to baby.
Right,
so I just was like, I gotta earn it without him saying it, and I understand that. But I remember I got the paper that day. I had to look at it again, bro. I said, he said, I've been a great consistent leader, and I've been the most consistent player on the team. Where my numbers ain't the highest as far as scoring.
They need to be.
But he put my name in his interview, and I was like, that's when I knew, like, he teaching me the game on a whole nother level. And I think that's the transition. I remember my brother used to come to games. He was at Virginia State at the time. I remember one time, D was sitting front row. He's like, man, why you not shooting? Take over. And I'm in my head like, I kind of want to, I want to put on a show for my bro. But I'm like, nah, I'm going to run these plays and give Coach Chauncey Billups so I stay on the floor.
It's different. He take you out and then he put you on the
And I think what it was, of course, like D said, is entertainment. D used to always hype me up like from day one. When I used to play D one-on-one. When I first started beating him a couple times, he started sending people my way. And like after that, D was telling me like, ooh man, people can't mess with you, yo. And he would like bring some of his people to my games and stuff. Telling y'all, my brother nice. So when he was there, I wanted to, but I'm like, nah, coach don't want me to do that. And that's when I learned the difference in playing control, where he didn't tell me I couldn't do my moves, because he said, do your moves, but do them with a purpose. Not for show.
Not just for show. Right. Doing it where, and that's a good point. And that's why I say I hope people listen, even younger guys that end up seeing this, because like you said, you was a gym rat. You know what I'm saying? Like you kept the ball in your hand every level. You know, you work, like you said, you work, you got whether it was a loss, whether it was a win. You know what I mean? So And I don't know if you remember the game I was talking about though, when you got the end when y'all was tied up.
I do. It was televised. Gary called me about it.
Gary called you about it too. Yeah,
because the clock was running down.
Yeah,
we was down one. And look, coach, he gave me the green light, and that's when I knew like that's why I love this dude as a coach. He never really gave it to me. Like I feel like he didn't want me to get the big head, but I remember he pulled me in the huddle. He said, "This what we running," and I remember walking out before that. He stopped me. If you don't got nothing, you know what to do. And he gave me that
word. Okay.
So I was halfway. I ain't gonna lie. I was hoping nobody get open off the set. So, but I looked for him. Nobody there. I look at the clock. I gotta do it. And I remember they had a big that was blocking shots. So I was like, he's gonna try to punch my jumps in the bleachers. I knew I could beat the dude. I was just worried about finishing when I got in that paint because a lot more charges being taken on the college level and way better shot blockers. So I remember I timed him. I showed him the ball. I said I was when I get down, I'm showing the ball. I showed him the ball, and I just moved up right under. He swatted it, and I went the other way. And that was one of the, I remember that.
Moment there. That was tough.
I like those moments, man. That's the crazy part. I never thought, like, from when I first started playing basketball to not even liking it, I was ready for those moments now.
Yeah, that's dope. That's dope, man. And thanks for sharing, and also thanks for sharing because you talked about, as we transition, we talked about, what you learned from Mathis and him being your favorite coach because you learned so much.
Yeah.
And I want to get into your coaching, and I also want to say that I don't know if people know, but Boo's mom used to coach. Boo's mom, Mr. Thing, was my first coach. When I first started playing ball, Mom said her and my cousin RP, Big E, they were my coaches. You know what I'm saying? But I say Miss Athena was a head coach because she said more. She said more, so she's the head coach. So you had that background.
Shout out to my man Ron.
Then you had what's up, man?
Top notch. I love it.
So you had that experience from your mom, from Big E, and then from all the coaches you played with. Did you know you wanted to get in coaching? Or was it a thing where it just came like talk
if
about
you
that.
ask me,
if you don't know, he's a JV coach right now. How many years is JV coach for Easton?
I want to say 5 under the belt now. 5 years. Shout out to Bunk too, man.
Bunk will be here last Monday this month.
Growing up, I never thought I'd been on that side of the game. I just love to play. Like you said, I was a gym rat. I studied the game to get better. Study like for moves. I used to watch YouTube a lot. I would watch Tim Hardaway, Nick Van Exel, one of my favorite guards.
Underrated.
Chris Paul. I watched all the undersized guards because I realized I was going to be an undersized guard. So when I was studying the game, it was not from a coach's perspective. I wasn't studying the game to coach. So if you ask me all the way up to college, I'm never going to coach. I probably, that's how I felt. But how I got into it was, so of course some years later, shout out to little J Bird, my little bro. I got a little brother that's watching now. He up next, so he gonna chase it. And what a lot of people don't know is that's kind of how ISO started too. I started training my little brother at like 4 for real. Like soon as he could dribble, I would have him in the crib with a headband on and jersey. We dribbling and stuff. And I mean, he was I could tell he was gonna be an athlete. He was just running around wild. Jay was wild, so I started working out with him. So I would go to some of his practices sometimes. And shout out to all the fathers that do volunteer, because I'm not knocking those guys. But I just saw a lot of people that were volunteering to do it that didn't really know about basketball. And I felt like my little brother was getting cheated out of, the knowledge of the game. Like I remember one time seeing him, I don't know who his coach was particularly, but he had him like doing a layup line from like the free throw line. And I was like, why are they doing that? And my mom kind of put that pressure on me. She was like, don't talk about it, be about it. They need somebody to step up. So then that's when I kind of got into, Juwan brought me in first actually. Juwan was coaching the Y, and I assisted Juwan.
Jig.
And we went, shout out to Jig. We went undefeated with the Y team we had. It was
I think I remember that.
Jay, Nazir South, y'all know his Nenny, Jay Russell. And that's how I got into it. And just to see like how helping those kids grow, and like Juwan can tell you, we put in press with kids, I think they was like 8 or 9. I remember getting complaints. Like, why are y'all pressing it? They like telling us to take Jay and Nazir out. Crazy. And I was like, y'all basically telling us to not play kids for doing good.
That's how it is around here.
Yeah, so I started coaching with the Y. From there, I got into the Friday night league.
And then also you did, not to cut you off, but you
Dream Chasers.
Yeah, that's all that's it. Yeah. I got that article too.
Oh, so yeah, matter of fact, Dream Chasers came before the middle school league. Shout out to the big homie LP.
You had some guys on there, man. You had Dave Bailey was on there. Dave Bailey was on that team.
Oh, I gotta tell you from the beginning. So this is how it happened. LJ was on his dad's team, of course. Mm-hmm. And LJ was tough. I remember I'm scouting kids because I still want to win.
Right.
But he was undersized, but he was really the head of that team. LJ was making plays. Mm-hmm. He was making elite IQ decisions at a young age. He was breaking people down, putting bounce passes on the dime. Mm-hmm. And I'm telling Juwan, I was like, that's the only team we got to worry about. So we met them in the championship. And we was pressing full court that whole season. Mm-hmm. That's how we was beating teams. But I was like, that young boy LJ can handle the ball. If he get by the first line,
it's a wrap.
So I remember we made a whole game plan just for LJ, and it's crazy because I knew I was like, I want to beat young boy before I get with him, because I seen a lot in LJ that I saw in myself. I could tell he was really about it, and I kind of already knew I wanted to connect with him in some way. So me and Juwan put in this half court jump press, make it look like we was gonna play a 2-3. As soon as he crossed the court, had Jay and Nenny jumping on him, double teaming him to make him get rid of the ball and make those other people shoot that wasn't as good as him or get the turnover. Yeah. And I remember we beat him, and I remember LP. You know LP. Every time I used to see LP, LP one of the nicest guys I know. But if you see his demeanor, I remember saying, "Hey yo, I'm thinking he mad that we beat him." I'm like, oh snap. He's like, "Man, good game. I want you to give him a boy, man." He was like, "I can only show him so much." And I'm thinking about getting these guys together.
That's real.
And man, he was on the same page as me. I was like, "That, I'm with it." And I was talking to him about LJ. I was like, "Yo, your son got it, but he got to change his form." A lot of people don't know. When LJ was young, he shot from behind his head.
Oh, okay.
And I'm looking like, if he's going to be an undersized guard, which I thought, the boy ended up being 6'1", so it made it even better. I'm like, you got to let me help with that. I was like, me and Jay go to the gym like every weekend. I'm going to start telling you when I take Jay. So then that's how LJ got in the mix. And I remember LJ was kind of mad at me. I would make LJ do straight form shooting for like almost an hour straight. So he got used to shooting like that. While I might do something different with Jay on the side, because I'd already taught Jay form shooting.
You started at, like you said, 4 years old. You started with your brother.
And they need each other. Because now I needed Jay's pat to get there. So when I'm doing it together, LJ putting that pressure on Jay for his dribbling, but Jay putting that pressure on LJ for shooting the ball. And I started working out with those two guys together first.
And Joe started the brand.
And then shout out to Jonas, back when I was getting haircuts, boy, he went down. But Jonas was telling me like, "Man, how much you charging these kids?" I was like, "What you mean charging?" He was like, "You know how much trainers get paid in California and all this stuff?" At the time, I'm thinking small. I'm just thinking, I'm just helping kids.
It's love. You ain't thinking about
it. I'm just doing it because I like doing it, and I want my brother to be just as good as us, if not better. Like I used to put that pressure on Jay, like, you are a little bro. You gotta be able to hold your own. So it went from like working out with Jay to LJ, and then it would be people would see those two and other people that I work out with and ask like, what is he doing? And LP would always give him the word, "Man, my boy Boo getting them right. You gotta get with him." Same thing with my mom. My little brother started playing across the bridge too. He had got picked up by Maryland 3D.
Oh, okay.
There was some guys over there, and I mean Jay was killing them. And I remember I used to ride over there with my mom, because this was around the time Eric had passed or whatever. So like we was real close. I'm just trying to do everything, stay as close as I can. The coaches asked my mom the same thing, like, "Who's your son being trained by?" Like, because over there they got trainers, like, you know.
That's right.
And my mom, like, he work out with his brother, like it's nothing. So then they started asking me like, "Can you like work with our guards?" So I worked with some guards with Maryland 3D, and then they like, I was low key on the coaching staff, but I was more like a skills coach with Maryland 3D. And then that's when me and LP was like, "We gonna start this team." We started. Look, we're gonna start with Nazir, Jay, LJ. That's pretty much the first three we knew, like for sure. A kid named Zach at the time, I remember I don't know, big Justin Fenwick. I used to just go to the YC kids. Justin was big. I said, man, how old are you, man? He was in like 6th or 7th grade, staring me in my eye. I was like, you ever played basketball organized? You never played organized ball. Come to this practice this day. And we just went from there. People was recruiting guys from Salisbury. We got Tyrese. Then we ended up getting David, Jamion. And I mean, them boys they was doing some damage. We did a league up in Annapolis. And of course, we was the only team from the shore. They wasn't thinking we were going to do anything. Man, we won that joint. Niall, he was on there. We had some guys, man. Dante. Yeah, we had a good team, man.
Yeah, that's dope. That's dope. So it's kind of you juggling a lot because you got your coaching. Yeah. And at the same time, you got your training, you got your ISO brand. So obviously, you started training people, like you said, with your brother and LJ and stuff like that. And how did it evolve to where you're like, you know what, I do need to start charging a little something. I do need to start make your brand, your ISO brand. I do need to start making it a brand. So what did you go into that? Because there might be somebody out there that might be like, what steps do I need to take to have my own brand?
The crazy part is I feel like I was forced into it. I put myself in a little bit of a jam financially. I got you. Yeah. So like Jonas kept telling me like, go ahead, charge. I still was like, in my head like, I feel like they'll stop coming. Like I didn't believe in myself all the way. I didn't have the confidence.
You're starting off compared now, everybody training.
Right. You know what I'm saying? So like, I mean, I worked out with even some of the girls, Abby and Lily and them. So what happened was I went off of Capitol Police around 2013, 2014. And I qualified for everything. But I really didn't want to do it. It was just more of a move I was going to make, to help my mom, everybody, get a good job, establish myself, get benefits, all that. So what happened was I moved to Annapolis. I was moving to Annapolis and I signed a lease with, I lived in Annapolis for like a year. So I had to move there to be part of Capitol Police. They said you couldn't be so far away. So what happened was the government shut down. And I quit all my other jobs. So I quit my jobs and I moved to Annapolis and I signed a lease. And now I got to stay on the lease. So, man, ask my mom. You would have thought I was a workaholic. This is what I started doing. I just said, all right. Like when I first started charging, I was only charging people like $20 an hour. So then when I needed money, I was like, look, anybody who ever asked me, I'm gonna tell them $50, $50 an hour, and I'm going home to Easton from Annapolis. So they would just meet me at the gym. The parents would, I got you. And I started saving that money, trying to pay my, I was staying with my cousins at the time. I started saving that money. I'm doing like 4 or 5 to 10 workouts a day, like just going back to back, getting the money, throwing the money in my book bag, then going home telling my cousin like, I got my rent. And luckily my cousins wasn't putting that pressure on. They was like, don't worry about it. We know what happened. It ain't like you just, And then I did get a job, but what I saw when I didn't have a job, when I charged that, they paid it. And they thought it was worth it. So then,
whole time you think it's too much, and they
that's good. And I was like, wow, like I was sitting on something, and I would have been doing it anyway.
Exactly.
And then this was even before EJ. Shout out to EJ before he had got going with doing the logos and stuff. I just knew EJ did that because we like worked at the camps and stuff together, and I knew EJ, messed around with that stuff. So I hit EJ. I was like, man, look, I think I'm gonna start a business. I need a logo. And he like, what you need? And I was like, I'm gonna call it ISO. And he was like, bet. I didn't even know what ISO meant. I just did it because like that's what people call me. And then one day, I was just sitting. I was like, I like acronyms. Like we had the B Street joint. Came up with that. We was doing the parties. I was like, I stand out. And I like took that and ran with it. I was like, ISO is gonna be I stand out because
I like that.
No handouts if you gonna stand.
I like that.
And it's from my story. I knew I wanted to get some recognition in this game, so I had to put the work in. And a lot of people used to think my brand was about teaching kids a million moves, go one-on-one. That's not what ISO is about. And I said this at my tournament as well. I shared the story. But the ISO thing came about. I told EJ, I said, it's got to have a basketball. Just make it look slick, man. I was like, I want the colors purple and orange. And the meaning behind my colors that I chose, I'm an Eastern Warrior, and I feel like I'm a warrior in life. Like you said, I feel like basketball.
I know that purple dog, right?
Yeah, the stuff we transitioned over from basketball goes in life. I had to become a warrior in life. I've been through some stuff, and I had to just keep going through adversity. And the purple for me
Purple
is not
Lakers.
Lakers. It's
Okay.
not
All
Lakers.
right, just check it.
I knew that's what you was gonna say. It's
Purple
not
Lakers
Lakers.
color like a red say. All
But
right.
it did make sense.
Yeah,
but I don't know if people know it. Purple is the color of faith and royalty.
Yeah, it is. Royalty. That's the color of my inside my
So
church.
I said
Royalty.
I want the colors purple and orange because I want to teach kids you gotta believe in yourself. It starts with having that faith.
Mm-hmm.
You need to view yourself as somebody.
I like that.
You're a young
Y'all
king,
listen,
you're
y'all
a young
listen.
queens. View yourself as that. But you won't have to fight for it. That's what the orange, we warriors. You have to fight through life. You have to fight for that spot you want on the team.
That's dope.
But have enough confidence to know, like, I can do these things I want to do.
Yeah.
So, man, EJ sent it back to me. Even back then, look, he on his game. He sent that thing back to me in like a week, man. I was so hyped. And I sat on it, like I just would just look at the logo,
Yeah.
not even showing it to people, because I'm like afraid to put the idea out there. Because this is what I will say to my entrepreneurs. One thing I battled at first is like worrying about what people gonna say, and
A lot of people do. We all
dream killers.
Yeah,
you
we
know,
all do.
you shoot ideas.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's why you gotta be careful who you tell your stuff to.
Right,
Everybody supposed to
right.
know what you're getting ready to do, because some people is going to try to discourage you, discourage you on the way.
And what I learned about that is, it don't necessarily be that they hating or they don't believe in you. They just don't see
They don't see what you
God
see.
put in front of you.
Yeah.
Just like I didn't ask the coach, but I ended up doing it on the middle school level where I never thought that was going to happen. But shout out to Bunk. Me and Bunky was going at it at the middle school.
y'all was.
Our teams would go, you know, to the championship every year. So Bunk ended up getting a head coaching job for JV. And I remember like yesterday, he came to the middle school face to face. He came and asked for me because I was doing security when I moved back here. It's like, look, man, I got the head coaching job. I couldn't think of nobody else better to do this with me. I need you. What you gonna do? And he told me straight up, like, you might not be getting paid your first couple years. I don't know how it go. I didn't care about the money or nothing. I got so deep into it and seeing the joy in the side of seeing kids get better and knowing you had something to do with that, seeing them shine and grow. I was like, man, say less. Tell me where I got to sign, what I got to do. And then I knew that was going to help me build my brand too. Like now I'm actually coaching on a level that's, you know, people actually give you acknowledgement for. So then even on that stage, I started getting nervous. I'm like, I know how it be. You know, we got homeboys. If my teams ain't winning, oh man, boo, you can't coach. Your teams is trashed up. But I was just, I mean, me and Bunk keep it real with our players. We tell them we both played for the Warriors. This is deeper than just putting that uniform on and saying you're on the team. It's people out here that used to play that we played with. This is tradition for us. And now that we in the driver's seat to lead the team as coaches, we want to keep that tradition alive, even on the coaching side.
That's real.
And all the things I did, man, I ain't gonna lie to you. I wrote a long post about it one time because I was dealing with somebody who told me, she was like, man, you gotta start telling your story. And she was like, you've been through some stuff, and that's probably gonna go into the mental health thing. I was telling her about stuff I dealt with as a kid, and she was like, that's traumatic. And I'm like, nah, that's
you wasn't even
life.
thinking that's traumatic.
Yeah, I'm like, no,
you
that's
wasn't even
life.
thinking, you gotta mean
And I'm gonna be all the way 100. This was a girl, she was white. I'm black. I'm just thinking our worlds are different. But, you know, because she's learning about my past and I'm telling her stuff, she kind of give me a look like, you saw that? You dealt with that? And it wasn't until then I was like, some of the stuff I seen wasn't normal. And some of the stuff wasn't.
You thought it was.
Yeah, it wasn't how, you know, things go. But, you know, I just learned to fight through a lot of stuff without talking about it. I used to go to school with a chip on my shoulder some days, but nobody would ever know. I just wouldn't talk to nobody. And my mom, my brother, anybody who really knew me could tell you, I used to have a bad habit. I'll shut down. And, like, I won't talk to nobody because I'm dealing with something. And then it come out the wrong way.
It didn't come out wrong.
And I had an incident like that 2019. I started therapy in the beginning of this year because the stuff I thought I dealt with.
2020?
Yeah, it's stuff I thought I dealt with because I never addressed it.
Never addressed it. Yeah, you had it bottled in.
Yeah, certain things trigger that. And I just told myself, I was like, you know, stuff from my childhood that I saw. When I have kids, if I have kids, I don't want them to go through that. And that was really like my biggest motivation. Like, I was like, when I get a relationship and when I have kids, it's certain stuff I can't show them just because I see it.
Just because you seen it, and then that, because like you said, it's things that happen. Just like, you know, I was having Corey here, and I appreciate you sharing that because even when I had Corey, we was talking about how a lot of stuff you put in the comments hit head on, and the thing about it is, some of the things we see as kids, it's not till we get adults we sit back like, hold up.
Right.
Everyone puts a good
like know the difference.
But hold up. You know, that's affecting my mental right now. Like something ain't right. Like, you know, and then like you said, you hold it in too long, you know, you lash out at people or comes out wrong or stuff like that.
It wasn't even that incident just right in front of you. Right. It really did it sometimes.
It really did it sometimes. Yeah. So I hope people are listening that like if you're dealing with stuff, talk to somebody. Talk to a friend, talk to a professional, you know, but seek it. And it used to be taboo for black people back in the day. You gonna see a therapist, you ain't gonna see no therapist.
Right.
Man, we gotta get out of that. We can go see a therapist, deal with it, especially as a black man. Deal with it. And I mean, we can see 2020 already how it's been, you know, crazy as it's been. You've gotta talk to someone. Like tomorrow, I'm off at work. You know why? I gotta take a mental health day. You know, I need a day just, I'm gonna get a massage, you know what I'm saying? I need something to relax me, you know what I mean? That's my way of dealing with things. So, like Boo said, that don't be so prideful that you can't humble yourself and say, you know what, I gotta go see some help. I need to talk to somebody. I need to lay things out. It could be you lost somebody, you know, it could be, like I said, something happened in your childhood, but talk to somebody.
That's one of my cases. I'll say I went through a phase of depression in 2012. I mean, I was losing weight. Right. I didn't know. I'm thinking this is.
Yeah, you didn't think it.
Of course, I'm gonna be sad and down because my father figure just died. Like he's not my biological father. Yeah. But this the guy that basically looked out for me. Yeah. You know, even things like that. I got stuff that I used to hold against my biological father that I saw from childhood. I got you. And as I grew up, it's funny. Like I actually had a kid I had to talk to on my team about. I told him a story. I showed him a picture of my senior night. My dad came to my senior night, and it's crazy. Like I always still talk to my dad and dealt with my dad, but he didn't know it was stuff I was holding aside against him. Yeah. But in the picture, I had to show it to you one day. It's me between my mom and my dad, but I'm like on my mom and my dad right there. But you could just see it in my face, like you can see it. I could care less if you was here. But now, like, man, me and my dad tight now, like, cause I had to learn. He's human just like me. He made mistakes. From whatever he saw, from whatever he been through, and I'll be real. What I saw violence. I saw my dad put his hands on my mom. That stuff I witnessed. Man, I used to have, like I told you, how I am with basketball. That's how I am in life. I used to be like, man, when I get old enough, and I might have to wreck my pops. That's how deep my hate was. Like. And that was something I was, it's something I just was never dealing with. But back to when. In 2012, what a lot of people might not know, everybody knows Eric died. That was my stepdad. But right after that, I had an uncle who died. And then a week after that, my grandmother died. Yeah, so all in the month of October in 2012. Man, like I was literally in my room like, yo, God, what you doing to me? What you doing to my family? I couldn't eat, man. I couldn't sleep. I was dealing with other stuff. I'm trying to figure out who I am. Jobs, stuff like that. Like I stopped going to work, but somehow I ended up getting saved at Eric's funeral. And I'm not real big on religion. Like I post a lot of stuff about God. Sometimes I've had people hit me like, "Hey, you're real religious."
It's about a relationship.
I don't consider myself religious, but I know it's some stuff that I wouldn't have got out of if it wasn't for God. I don't know. Some days I got up anyway when I didn't want to. And I started getting into my Bible, started praying. My mom and my aunts and my cousin, they used to praise dance. I started going to church more. And I really had to build my spirit back up because I felt crushed. I felt lost. I'm like, I didn't have a good relationship with my real dad. The guy who finally I trust, which took years. Like, I didn't like Eric at first just off the strip. You're not my dad, bro. But I gained a lot of respect for this dude because I started seeing him making my mother happy, which was something I had never seen. So when that happened, I was depressed for like a year. Didn't even know it until I started reading this book called Claim Your Power. It's by a dude named Mastin Kipp. And it actually has like examples of things that are traumatic. It had like 20 things listed, like just as examples in the book. I went down the checklist. I had 19 of the 20.
Wow.
And it was like I was embarrassed reading the book for real. Like, dang, like.
Give him that book and type. Give him that. Author.
Claim the power. Claim your power.
Claim your power. What's the author?
Mastin Kipp. He's like a life coach. He deals with trauma resilience, all that type of stuff. I follow him on Instagram. He's a real good dude. He be giving a lot of good information. And I started reading my Bible. I started reading a lot of self-help books. That was one of my main ones. I read a book called Infinite Possibilities, talking about the power of manifestation, and basically it's like laws of attraction. Basically saying like you'll never have the things you're not believing for. So if you think,
that's good.
if you don't think anything of yourself, or you don't know your worth, you're worthless. Because that's how you feel, and you're not going to attract anything. And even if it does come, because of your mindset, you're not going to know what to do. And I'm reading a book right now called Ask and It Shall Be Given. It talks about the same thing, the laws of attraction, basically saying like, for example, if you want to be a millionaire one day, you have to believe it, and you also have to start taking steps like, I'm going to create some streams of income. I'm going to start doing something, you know, start a brand, start a lines, you know, be an entrepreneur.
Something different than just my 9 to 5.
Work up in your business that you with or your job. And like, I had to really I started pouring into myself. And it took knowing that you had lack to actually do that. Like when you think you're fine, when you're not, you don't feel like there's no work to do. But I just took a lot of time and said, I'm going to start pouring into Brew. I'm going to start pouring into me. I'm going to start reading books to empower myself. I'm going to start talking to people. I'm going to start networking. And that's how I got the confidence to actually start throwing ISO out there. And started, I mean, I do my own little videos on my phone.
And you also send, I appreciate you, man. You sent me some inspirational stuff in the last few weeks, man. And like I said, man, like, you know, it hits home, man. It seems like you sent it right on time.
Man, you know that's how you feel.
Like right on time. Like, I get that job, like, yo, boo, thank you, yo. Like, you know what I'm saying?
You'd be saying to me, I'd be like, I got to pay this forward.
Yeah, like real talk. Like, so I appreciate that, and I appreciate you sharing, because it's a lot that we deal with, and some people just don't know how to deal with things. But like as Boo said, you know, don't be ashamed to go to counseling. You know, don't be ashamed to talk to someone. Don't be ashamed to, like Boo said, it's about getting a close relationship with God. I tell people all the time, y'all can have religion, you know what I mean? But it's about my relationship with God, and don't let people try to put you in a certain place. Know who you are. You know yourself. Right. You know what I'm saying? Because you right, you be the person I know. That's why I like it. And be honest, I know you said that when I listened to when you had the can, I guess it was Eternal. I listened to that, and I was like, because you quoted the scripture and everything. I was like, I told my wife, that just is awesome. I didn't know it's still for I stand out. You know, I thought it was ISO, because like you said, back in the day, ISO,
right,
you know what I'm saying? That's what I was thinking, you know.
It's
so it's just like, it's like,
I can't remember, but it's like, it's through God, we find who we are, what our purpose is, something on those lines. But that's why I chose that. Well, my mentor's wife actually gave me that quote around the time more recently. I was dealing with something tough. And I even be real with you, I was dealing with some stuff the day I had my tournament. And
that's normally how I go to.
If you Teray, that's my man. Like me and Teray ain't grow up together, but like that's been my dog.
I said the same thing about Teray. Like he younger than me, and I just seem like I know this man. Like this is his spirit, I guess.
Right,
like,
that's
I just
my
feel like
man.
I've known him forever.
And I'm gonna tell you, him and Bunky, because me and Bunk coached together. We built solid relationships, and you know I'm not gonna get into what was going on, but both of them reached out to me like, look, bro, this your day.
It was that,
all that stuff you got going on.
Don't worry about that.
You gonna get through this. And I even told Teray, I was like, because I'm learning this through, like I'm in therapy and stuff, I usually try to handle everything on my own. Like,
that's how we
I'm just thugging out and get through.
We strong, we put on our shoulders.
I went to Teray, humbly, like, bro, if you see me, you know when I ain't right. Come pull me up.
I got you.
You know, and he was like, I got you, bro. And I did the same thing with Bunky. And I mean, that was an emotional day for me, really, because like I said at my tournament, that vision of seeing that actually come, I wrote that down years ago. Like I just used to, like my mentor used to start telling me, I don't care what ideas you got, write them down. From your craziest idea, I don't care if it makes sense, just anything you want to do, write down. And one of my biggies on my list, I was like, one day I want to do an orange versus purple game. I wrote it in my book. And then to my surprise, it came all together. Somebody just was like, look, we want to do a tournament, you know, to get some recognition to our gym. I'm like, oh, we got it. It's in my book. I got this idea.
Right here, look.
Right. I presented it to them a month before we did it. So we had a month to put this together.
Oh, wow. So you're doing all this month. Wow.
I just hollered at DJ Hack. Shout out to DJ Hack. He let me use his equipment for my camps. I knew Teray did the clothes. I'm like, Teray, you gonna do my uniforms? When they talked about getting a team together, it was supposed to be about your brands. I'm like, I'm gonna get Bunk. I'm gonna get Gordon, because I actually used to train Gordon, and me and Gordon started talking more because he's always around with the girls because his sister was there. And I just was like, I'm gonna put this tournament together and I'm gonna win it. Like that was That was my agenda.
Y'all won with that 2-3 zone, I heard.
I hope Dad's on here. Let me tell you about Dad. Dad was trying to put me on blast too. Dad was like, how this called ISO and your team playing zone? And I said,
we going for the win. That's my coaching right there. That's my coaching.
I said, I bet that trophy go home to us, Dad. And I mean, I love Dez, and that's why I asked him to be an MC for
perfect.
I want him to do that. And me and Dez, when we ain't on teams, if y'all can hear some of the trash, me and Dez talk to each other, just walking up the court. And there's another one. Hate playing against him. Love playing with him. I can go to war with that dude, man. But yeah, we definitely them college boys that watch the college team. They shortest man might have been 6'2".
Gotcha.
And I mean, they was dunking on us while we was in the zone.
Wow.
But we shot them out of there. Bunk was hitting.
I wanted to go to that too. I left to go Miami that day, man. That's why I couldn't get there. Man, that was great. And like you said, I know that's something you want to continue going. I know you were talking about your camp was it supposed to be the month of June? Your camp
I had one in June, July, and August.
Okay, and y'all already canceled August. Well,
I got some stuff that might still end up going. Mm-hmm. So I did the clinics with Parks and Rec here.
Oh yeah.
At the community center, and they said they might be able to work it out where they do things at low numbers. Because that's more just from the clinic.
This is a clinic.
The clinic don't get as many people as it can. Where our camps, the minimum number, you got to at least have 15 people. And I mean, with the social distance stuff, you ain't really even supposed to do over 10 people. So it's kind of been like, I mean, I'm not mad about it because I'm just like, we got to be safe first. Mm-hmm. You know? And I don't worry about the money.
God knows.
I'm just like, you know, that would have been good. I look forward to doing it bigger and better this year.
Right.
But hey, we got to make sure everything's good right now, especially with everything going on. That's the thing about me. People, I do my basketball stuff and all that, but I'm a real person too. I'm human. I see what's going on in the world. Basketball ain't really,
you always have,
the top of my words right now.
And thanks for sharing that. One thing I want to touch on, I want you to expound on for a second before we get into some NBA. I know it's getting late. I don't want to hold you too long. Appreciate everybody. Real Sports Fan Podcast, Boo Ricks. And it's been great. I hope y'all still on here. Share this thing. It's been good. You mentioned mentor. I wanted to ask you about that because that's another thing that can help someone is getting a mentor, getting someone there. You know that you might didn't know. You know, we're not talking about a friend that you grew up with. We talk about an actual mentor. Talk about this how you went into getting a mentor or just your experience.
Man. Like I said, without getting too religious, man, God brought that man in my life, man.
That's what's up.
I'm not even gonna lie to you. I was going through some stuff, and I was working at the middle school at the time. And shout out to my man Dan Zolenhofer.
So, Pastor Dan.
Y'all was over there playing basketball that morning. I want to say you were in there too. We had like they had like a bomb threat or something at the school.
Oh yeah.
So, and real story, I'm gonna get as real as it can get. I prayed the night before. I was just struggling with a lot of stuff, and I was just like, man, God, I need your help. Like, and for anybody who not real religious, I'm telling you, like Lance said, just relationships. Sometimes I just sit down, God, I need your help.
Let's talk to him.
I don't know exactly what to say, but I just say those words, God, I need your help. So the next day we had the bomb threat, and Dan comes up to me, he's talking to me. You know, what's up, boy? See you at the gym, like just regular talk. And we just talking, and I don't know if he could just see it in my face or, God used him.
He's a vessel. He seen.
He hit me out of nowhere. It's like, man, if you don't mind me asking, how's your relationship with God right now? And it kind of took me by surprise because I know I just really said this sincere prayer the night before, and I'm like, I don't take things like that lightly. Like if I pray and there's somebody like him comes to me, I don't. Like that's not coincidence to me. I believe in the law of attraction. So me and Dan got to talking, and I told him in so many words, man, I've been struggling. I ain't really been going to church. Went back to old habits, trying to deal with things on my own, in my own way. So he said, man, I didn't even know Dan was a pastor. All them years I played ball with, he invited me to church. And at first, I was a little on it. I'm like, as you know, like, you got white churches, you got black churches. I was used to going to a predominantly black church. I figured that church would be predominantly white, but I know, like, it's all about God. I woke up that Sunday and I went. Dan, it was a great service. I talked to Dan afterwards. He introduced me to Terry, my mentor, who is more like my friend, like my best friend. We talked about more than my business now. And he's 6'8", And Dan was like, "You think you can take this guy?" And you know me, I'm like, man, look, back in the day, he'll be a 6'8". And I mean, Terry was just a real dude. And Dan was like, he's real humble, he's being modest, man. This guy used to play for the Pistons.
Oh, wow.
And I'm like, whoa, for real? And that struck my attention.
Oh, wow.
And he just said, he's like, Dan's already been telling me a lot about you, man. I think me and you are gonna be good friends. I want to start meeting up with you if you're open to it. And we probably talked for about a good 5-10 minutes that day. And his sons actually have training businesses. Okay. He has business. He's involved with Talbot Mentors. And we first started just meeting up. We just meet up at Chick-fil-A every Saturday, every time I want to say, and just talk. First, he told me his story, like, and that's how I was like, I can trust this dude. He let me have all.
He told you stuff probably.
He told me his story. Yeah,
I can open up to him.
Right. And it's like I think he knew what he was doing, because when I first met him, I think we just gonna get straight into he'll help me with my business. But he said, I want to know who you are, and I want to let you know who I am, so you understand that God works with us all and through us all in all types of different ways. And I mean, Terry told me his story, and to my surprise, I mean, some of the stuff he went through, I went through. Yeah. But you would never know it. You know, judging a book by its cover. And we just started talking life. He set a lot of things up for me because he's got a lot of connections. I mean, this guy don't ask me for nothing.
Yeah, that's what's up.
He just, man, you're gonna do big things. He prays with me, prays for me. Every time he called me on the phone, before we get on the phone, he never forgets to pray. And I mean, I'm 31 and got a mentor, but that's what I tell people. But now more, we've been cool for about 2 years. He's my friend. Like, I check up on him. I've been calling you good on the quarantine. You need something? And same with him. He like lives by the water. Sometimes he call me, come, you need to come see this view. Come go stand by the, check the sunset out and talk to God for it. I go to his house. You know, this guy to see me cry and everything. And I mean,
that's good.
I know God brought him into my life for a reason. And I just hope I know we're going to accomplish what he brought into my life to get done.
For sure. And thanks for sharing that. And I'm glad that I remember to ask that. I'm glad you mentioned mentor, because I would have been mad if I left and didn't, because I wanted to ask you about that, because I seen the steps. You know, I'm on the outside looking in, but I seen the steps, and I didn't know what you was going through. But I knew you was going through something, just because I just, you know, had a sense. But I seen, you know, the steps where I could see, like, oh, boo, you know, you must be doing a lot better. You know, I see, you know, like I said, not that you still going through things, but like we all do. We all go through things, but it's different than how you handle it and doing like this and giving it to God,
right?
And not trying to take it on the back. And one other thing, I just told somebody before I came here. If we be specific with God on our requests, when you pray to God or talk to God, be specific with Him. Ask Him, you know, whatever you exactly want. And like you said,
it's not a whole bunch of other stuff.
You needed something that next day.
Sometimes I talk to God exactly how I'm talking to you. Like, man, I don't know.
It don't got to go all that, all the time. You know, sometimes people like, you're a minister, I know you didn't know. Man, I'm simple. I'm not. I'm simple with God.
I got a couple close friends that I trust with, you know, my business.
Yeah.
I've learned to open up more and confide in people. Because even going to therapy, like, therapy don't handle everything for me. Because even like right now, I would still be going to therapy if it wasn't for COVID. Gotcha. And then like my therapist, they'll reach out to me saying like we could do video calls and all that. But me, I'm over. I was like, I'd rather
it's not the same.
You know, I was like, I just handle it on my own, because I'm used to doing that. And like, he gave me a lot of advice on, like, even when I met my therapist, he told me there was a lot of stuff I was already doing. You know, it's a good coping. And I think basketball saved me too. Like, whenever I'm mad, I go to the gym. Whenever I'm sad, I go to the gym. That's how I handle. That's how I clear my mind. But what I had to learn for myself is, as soon as I come back from it, it's still there. So you got to face these things. And I've just been way more proactive in sitting myself down. Look at Sharky. I've been doing from my book, The Term is Shadow Work, and basically saying, digging into that dark stuff that you suppress and you've never been able to face, like on the stuff I told you about, like seeing domestic violence as a child. I didn't know how I felt about relationships, and I just made a vow to myself I'd never put my hands on a woman. But there's been times I've caught myself being just mad, and I'm like, I don't even want to be mad.
I know what you mean.
And I just started learning, like, I gotta work on myself to help myself out with my career, my relationships, my friendships, and I just try to work on myself all the way around. But I'm real hard on myself, and I'm hard on people too. I will admit, like,
sometimes too hard on yourself.
Right, and it's like, I used to be low key a perfectionist. Like, I'm the type, I'll go to the gym, like, I gotta make these 100 shots. And they be saying like, you know, the gym closes at 10. I'm looking at them like, what you don't know is I'm only on 90. So let me finish making these shots. Like, but I learned like, man, you don't have to be perfect.
Right.
You can make mistakes.
You can make mistakes. So it's about how do you recover from the mistake? How do you get you
Right.
back? You know, a D-Wade fan fall down 7 and get up 8.
Right.
Or you gonna get back up that 8th time. You know, you
Man,
fell down 7 times.
And I'm gonna tell you another key to it. And I was on, I think it was Corey's segment on here.
Yeah.
Empathy, forgiveness, boundaries, and balance. Those are my 4 keys right now.
Give me that again.
Forgiveness, empathy, boundaries, and balance. And I'll give you one more where people look at it the wrong way. I read this book called Daring Greatly. It's a lady named Brene Brown. She does like motivational speaking. And she talks about the power of being vulnerable. So until people can become vulnerable with themselves, you can't open up to anybody else. Like, you're not even being real with yourself. Like, and it took for me to be like, I'll say like, even with the stuff growing up, for years I acted like it didn't hurt. When it did, but I was like, man, I ain't letting people see that hurt me. And that crossed over into some of my relationships. And I found myself being emotionally unavailable sometimes, and I hurt some people I cared about. And it took for me to one day sit myself down like, as much as I think what they did hurt me, how many times I hurt them? Man, it's not just forgiving other people. I'm working on forgiving myself about some stuff. Yeah, because I hate to admit it, but it's been times where, because I was dealing with people and I was hurt, I ended up hurting them back. Because people are flight or fight. I'm a fighter. So I didn't know how to sit back when somebody hurt me, like, all right, you know? So I might do something where I'm thinking they ain't care about me, so I don't care about them either. But now I'm learning, like, nah, that's not the way. I've been real apologetic to a lot of people. I've been real forgiving to a lot of people, because that's how God is with us. But you also need those boundaries, because some people, if you forgive them too many times, they walk all over you. And then, you know, the balance and the boundaries is the part that keeps you from getting in the ruts. And that's what I had to learn. Like, those boundaries come saying, like, if that's not cool with you, you got to say that. Like, if somebody asks me to do something that's going to benefit them, but it puts me in a bad spot, the boundary part is me saying, look, man, I can't. It's nothing against you. But that's going to do something for me, point. Like to me.
Sometimes we don't say I can, or we don't say no, or everything, you know what I'm saying? Or with things are just for people, you know. Hey, you want to do this? Or I need you to do this, or something.
And it makes you feel like a bad person. Because they took the time to ask you.
But you can't. And just some advice, like you said, don't be so hard on yourself, man. You know what I'm saying? Like don't, you know, because sometimes even as a 31-year-old, that unnecessary stress, you know, you start dealing with high blood pressure, start dealing with headaches, start dealing with things that you don't need. You know what I mean? So like you said,
my thing is I'll start oversleeping. That used to be my. That's how I knew. That's my.
I'm a big overthinker. Even still now.
That's when I know I'm in a rut. Like when I'm just gonna sleep to death.
But I used to oversleeping.
Oversleeping.
So you sleep. So I see what you're saying. I see what you're saying.
Even that's a habit I had to break. Like. Even if you don't know what's gonna get up, read a book, and like I don't know if you ever seen
Open the blinds.
Sometimes I post on my stories. I got a book that my dad gave me. It's got daily devotionals called Letters from God. And like, man, sometimes starting my day, like I just do it page by page, and it's kind of like the stuff I sent you. Sometimes I read that page for the day, and I'm like, man, God is real, man. He knew I need to hear that.
He is, man.
And then that's where the balance side comes in. So my number one coping was basketball, of course. That was what I go to. But I had to learn what you said. Some days you just got to take that day, like
you gotta take that day.
Just chill out, relax. And
I
had trouble with that.
And you said one of the words earlier, that balance.
Yeah, that's what I said. That's where the balance part comes in.
It's that balance, man.
And the balance for me is, even now during the COVID, where I know right now it's not my fault that everything is shut down.
Right.
But I feel like I'm supposed to be doing more.
Really?
That's how I get, like, and I've always been that way.
I know probably me or your mom or something. What you think you supposed to be doing right now? You can't do nobody can do nothing, man.
I've always been this,
back up.
I just always been in my head, like, if I say it, I can get it.
Something. Yeah, I feel you, man. I appreciate you. You know, you share a lot of good stuff. One thing that I got to do, I keep saying this. I heard you say you name so many things, but books. I got to start reading more. You know, and not just about you. You know what I mean? But yeah, let me know, man. Send it seriously. One thing I keep saying is I want to read more and you know, good books that can encourage and empower and stuff like that. So.
But that's the thing too, where I had to accept help. Somebody pushed me into that lane,
and that's why
it started helping.
Yeah. That's really one thing. You can never be too old to ask for help. You know, sometimes our pride gets in the way with that, but that's what we got to humble ourselves and remember. So, man, good stuff, man. I'm gonna ask you this question here, and then we're gonna go ahead and get out of here. I'm gonna have you back for when the NBA stuff.
Yeah, you ain't even got the clips out there.
I know. I got the clips on there and all that. I'm gonna have to post some of that stuff when we get done. We definitely do another, but. Before NBA is supposed to be back July 31st, everything goes right.
Yeah.
Let me know right now. Let the people know why the Lakers are still gonna win the championship. Just let me know what they got to do. Who do you see them facing?
This why. It's funny. I just had this conversation. For one, it ain't because I'm a Lakers fan. I'm put that out there, but I feel like this was our year. We was number one seed before it all ended.
And they were just getting. They just had the wins against the Clippers and the Bucks. Like just getting. Yeah.
Who was I talking to? Might have been Denzel. I can't remember who I was talking to, but I said with them coming back July 31st, we're going to have the most time to get back on track because at the 1 seed, we face what?
Yeah, face Memphis or...
Right, where we can get a couple games under our belt against not these high caliber teams.
Yeah.
Where other people who ain't...
Yeah, they got to go. After them 8 games.
Yeah, like, if they come back slow...
They got to go right in there.
Right, but I feel like...
Go by fast.
We gonna get that build up, handle a couple. I ain't trying to sleep because you can't sleep on no teams in playoffs.
Nah.
But I feel like we in the best position for this situation that just hit us. Yeah. With us coming with the AC versus us as our first games, and then get our feet wet, get right back into basketball shape. Yeah, I know them boys is working out, but
like you're saying, plus you got LeBron who's got his own gym. So
that's what I'm saying. He probably been doing a little private stuff, you know.
I hope he's been on that free throw line. Just stay shooting free throws. You know what I'm saying? And getting better. But I know he has. I mean, I know he's been in the gym. You know what I mean? And all the guys go with it. So who do you still see the Clippers as their hardest competition?
I was about to talk about that. Even when everything was regular, I just feel like playoffs hit different.
Yeah.
Clippers handled us during regular season. But I also think LeBron's strategic. I've been saying this for years. I've been telling people.
Like that
he don't care about losing to them in the regular season. Like, and anybody who really knows the game knows that. Like kind of how I told you about our Chesapeake team. Yeah. We wasn't that good regular season. We was a little bit above 500, but everybody goes to playoffs.
It's always about building up.
Right.
He's always building up.
LeBron's doing what I told you we was doing in high school. Making sure everybody else can click.
Yep.
LeBron can turn it on and off when he wants. Yep. And we're going to get on right now. I do think Kobe is better than LeBron, but I'm telling y'all, if LeBron had a Kobe mentality, I wouldn't be on it.
So all time, because I was
all time is Jordan.
No, well, not a Jordan 1. But
okay.
Between Kobe and LeBron, who's better? You know, what do you?
I was talking to, was it Bryce Terray, somebody else, I can't remember. John. I was talking to John Dawes. He was getting on me. He started talking numbers. And when I look at basketball, it's kind of like what my coach said about me. He pointed me out even though my numbers weren't the best. That's what I compare. I don't compare the stuff on paper. I compare that killer. Like, it's just stuff I've seen from Kobe.
Yeah, if you're doing the killer instinct, then Kobe goes.
Yeah, that's what I go with. Now, when you talking numbers, you got to throw LeBron up there. Yeah. But I'm talking about when I got to pick somebody where I know.
You're talking about if I'm at the park and I want somebody. Yeah, that's a little different.
I know. Look, we about to get. We're going to get straight to it and handle business. Yeah. I like Kobe. For a piece that's going to make my team better. You go LeBron.
You
definitely go LeBron.
I got you. Yeah, we're gonna spend on that when we got some more time. I got some more questions, but we'll be here till 10 o'clock. We got I could really get on that. What's up, Denzel? I see you on here.
Oh, don't talk to Denzel. Denzel said that D Wade is in front of Jordan.
Oh yeah, he really. I love D Wade, but I can't say.
Hold on, I'm gonna tell you what else he said. Denzel, please confirm. He said top shooting guards all time. He put Kobe number 1.
Oh my God.
So this is what I said. I said, hold up. I said, I'm a Kobe fan. I said, you got Jordan number 2. He said, Jordan not even number 2. I said, man, he was number 2. Wait. I said, so Jordan's 3. He said Jordan 3rd on the shooting guard list.
Denzel Young, man. You see Mike, man. Shout out Denzel for everything you doing too, man. You know, man. So I appreciate it, man. But man, it's been a good one, dog. Yeah, I appreciate you, man.
I'm about to say we still got a couple things we didn't even get into.
We're gonna be back. We're gonna do this again. I told you I might start going 2 shows a week. Cause I got a lot of stuff I'm trying to do. You know what I'm saying? Time is it's June already.
I definitely got the time right now.
Yeah,
working at the school. Most I've been doing is handing out food.
Yeah, that's good too. That's good. We're doing so. Yeah, and that's one thing I always commend you about before we close. That I know you and your mom always give I think it's around Thanksgiving time or Christmas time.
We used to go to the, I think it's Christmas. Yeah. Out by the fire.
Yeah, y'all always give them.
I ain't gonna lie, I ain't been the last couple
years.
Right,
I
ain't get up. But yeah, my mom is big on that. She always would get us into stuff like that. Like even like you said, she used to coach y'all.
She always did, y'all. Always did, man. So look, we appreciate y'all. Real Sports Fan Podcast. I know I told y'all to catch me at 8. I hope y'all still on here. Shout out POV. Y'all can check that out as well. Anything else you want to say before we end?
Man, I just want to get you real quick, man. I love what you're doing. For real, man. I love to see people doing their thing. Like
I'm just trying to get people their flowers while they still smell them, man. Yeah, to celebrate you,
exactly.
People that we've been through stuff and can overcome,
right,
and all that, man. So,
and I mean, not even just being on here, just watching you talk to other people and connecting with other people, it's connected with me. And I'm gonna tell you, shout out to Corey. You know, when I see you talking to Corey, I'm like, man, we got a lot in common. Might not on the same level in the same situations, but a lot of stuff Corey was saying about, dealing with stuff that we just numb ourselves to.
We numb ourselves to.
I was like, right, bro. People don't understand. And, we get that pressure as being men. Oh, don't cry. And all that stuff that he was talking about. I dealt with that for years. And now I don't care. I cried.
I say the same thing. I need a good cry. You know what I'm saying? So I had a good cry yesterday. I need it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So. Look, we appreciate everybody for watching. If you're still on, I know I think this is my longest episode ever. So that's how good it's been. You know what I'm saying? Shout out my boy. You know what I'm saying? Appreciate y'all. Real Sports Fan Podcast. We out of here. Peace.
Appreciate y'all.